When it comes to beautiful looking pens, Visconti certainly makes some of the best, and their Van Gogh line is no different. I am Rusty, and I'm going to explore if this Vincent van Gogh Starry Night is as good of a writer as it looks. This pen is absolutely beautiful. The more you look at it, the more colors and depth that you see, especially because the Starry Night starts out a little black. Without much light, you see some colors, but the more light you shine on it, or even sunlight, the more colors just come out and shine at you. But looks aren't everything. The overall construction of the Van Gogh is good. I did have some quality control issues, but in terms of overall construction of the pen, it is good. The quality of the materials feels good in the hand, and for the most part, it was put together very well. However, there were multiple quality control problems that I had with this pen. The first issue I had was that the converter was too big for the body of the pen and would rotate with the body when I'm trying to remove it. This would then cause the plunger of the converter to push halfway down, therefore pushing out half of the contents in the converter. The second issue I had was that the nib and feed was not screwed in properly, which made the pen leak on my hand the first time that I was writing with it, which coincidentally made me want to take off the body of the pen to see what was wrong, and then it squirted ink all over me. But these things were easily fixed with a small pair of scissors and me just screwing in the nib and feed sections. The other quality control issue I had was that the nib has a slight baby's bottom on it. I'm going to put this in this category instead of when I talk about the nib because it's a quality control issue. It's not a major baby's bottom. It doesn't have many hard starts, but if the pen sits for a couple days, it will have a slight hard start, and I will have minor skipping throughout a page of writing, maybe 2 or 3 times at most. So let's talk about this cap. This cap is actually very nice. It's unique being that it actually uses magnets instead of a mechanical clicking pop cap or a screwed in cap. It gives the cap a premium feel to it. It has a nice sound when you take it off and put it back on. And even though this pen isn't meant to be an everyday carry, it still has a one-handed usability. The only problem with the cap is there's no actual seal other than metal on metal, which makes for hard starts after a couple days, if not a week. On the cap is the iconic Visconti bridge clip. While some find it very pretty, I find it to be fairly impractical. While it is very nicely spring-loaded and it's easy to operate, the shape of it means that you have to use a pinching technique just to get it to clip onto a pocket of any kind. What this pinching technique is you have to squeeze your fingers, your thumb and your forefinger, between the top of the bridge and the body of the cap. This will spread the clip open, allowing you to put it into a pocket. While this isn't a very hard thing to do, it's slightly inconvenient if you just want to pick up the pen and put it in your pocket, because then there's that extra thing that you need to pick it up, position your fingers right, and then put it in your pocket. Yes, you are seeing this correct. The grip section is a polished metal, so that does mean it does get slippery when your fingers are sweaty. However, there's 2 small saving graces for this grip. First is there's a little bump at the bottom of the grip section, which allows you to have a little bit of leverage when you're trying to write, and you have something for reference of where your fingers are. And the other is that the grip section is actually fairly small. So based on my grip, my thumb actually rests half on the body of the pen, which the body of the pen is very grippy. So in essence, only my forefinger really slips a little bit. So as I mentioned before, my nib has a slight baby's bottom. But in this section, I want to talk about how it performs when it is writing and the cliff notes for this nib is that it's smooth and wet. The Van Gogh is not only an artistic looking pen on the outside, but when you take into account the smoothness and the wetness of this nib, it also allows the words that you write to be very artistic. Whether you're using a shading, a shimmering, or a sheening ink, it really allows the ink to flow to give you that little bit of an artistic flair in your words. So to wrap it all up, the Visconti Van Gogh is a good pen. It's beautiful and it writes well enough. And even though I know it isn't designed to be practical, with the magnetic cap, it can be a practical pen if you wanted to take something like this to work or to school every day. I personally would rather something that is practically beautiful, where you start with a good, reliable product and then make it pretty, instead of trying to make something pretty and then pushing on practicality. This is more of a rant about Visconti itself, but as for the Van Gogh, if you want a piece of art in your hand that will make a writing experience something of a special occasion, and you have $300 to spare, then I really cannot think of a better option than Vincent van Gogh, which is exactly the reason I purchased this pen in the first place. Thank you for watching. If you like my style of review, please comment and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, so that way you can be notified whenever I come up with my next reviews or videos. Thank you.